I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this holler, we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had no work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
And this game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday. And, man, I tell you what. It was just a couple of weeks ago on Thursday, David Grubb and myself came in, and we were just bewildered, flabbergasted, just didn't know what to say as we saw our nation's capital attacked by people who just, I don't even know where to go with it. I could name call, I could do a bunch of things, but it just goes to show that one of the funniest things ever created was people. One of the funniest things ever created was people. People are hilarious. People are hilarious. Their nature, their line of thinking, the way they handle themselves, you know, what they call themselves and what they actually do, it's unimaginable. It's hilarious. You just have to watch it and laugh. I mean, I look at how people, you know, oh, the election was stolen. Oh, there is a cabal and they're sex trafficking kids and furniture from Wayfair. And these people, like, I'm not knocking them, because trust me when I say we got Christians, we got friends, we got family members that are loony as the day is long as well. Hilarious. I look at what's going on with James Harden. Everybody hates James Harden now, but guess what? When he was rocking that Rockets jersey and he was getting them to the Western Conference Finals, people loved him. You know, Clint Capella goes off last night. 27 points, 26 rebounds, 5 blocks. Hadn't been done since Shaquille O'Neal in 2004, and I was in that number of wanting Capella out. People smile in your face and tell you good people, you family, you like a brother, a cousin, a friend, and as soon as you do something that they don't like, they are talking behind your back. People. Oh man, I got people coming on right now. Let me get him in. There he is. Hold on. Let me get his do right in here. Where's my stuff? Somebody took my stuff. I'll find a way. I will find a way. Hang on. I got to get I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I got a special guest that's going to help me talk about people. We're going to talk about people. One of the funniest things ever created. People. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break. Hey, Natasha Marie, I'm going to see you Saturday. I am going to be a guest on the Not So Christian in Me show. I might bring this up on Saturday. All right, let me bring my special guest in. I'll be right back. We'll take a break right after this on the lunch break. People.
People.
My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now.
People.
Cash award and have your medical expenses
That's all
covered.
I know.
And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816.
And I can't sing, brother.
800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140
I have
AM.
respect for guys' games and what they've done, but at no point in my career will I ever back down. I will never back down.
That's what I love about this brother right here. He ain't got to apologize for nothing. He writes. He reports. He just tells the truth. Ain't trying to make them mad. If they look bad, that's on them. But this part right here, he's dunking on everybody in the business. I'm talking about Mr. Houston Roundball Review himself. We got Kris Gardner back on the program with us. And Kris, we're glad you joined us for the time that you have. I know you got to go talk Rocket stuff with the Rockets. But Kris, people, man, people. One of the funniest things ever created. People.
People. Yes.
James Harden goes out and has a triple-double in his first game with his new team. Yeah, he didn't play as well the second game. And then last night, they got all three of them together. James, Kyrie, and Kevin. And they lose, and everybody's just going off. I told you it wasn't going to work. It's like the first time they ever played together in ever. Kris, is it me or are people funny?
Oh, no question people are funny. Did you notice in James' first game with the Nets that it seemed like some folks in the media, national media, were surprised James had skills? Like what he did with the Rockets just didn't happen for 8 years. Like, oh, James is a great passer.
Like they were just playing street ball here in Houston.
I mean, like, really, what were y'all doing for the last 8 years? Like, James just woke up and said, oh, he's with a team in New York. He's good now. Oh, okay. So all of a sudden, they're shocked at that. They lost to Colin Sexton, who went off 20 straight points. And the biggest issue that all of us have said, I've said, is the defense will be the big question for Brooklyn.
Right.
And offensive firepower is not going to be in doubt. Can they stop people when they need to get stops? That's going to be the question.
I remember, and I know I'm going to a different team. In fact, I could use a pro team. Remember Loyola Marymount of old?
Yes.
Remember the old Phoenix Suns where they go put up 120. They go put up 130. Sometimes you can outscore your defensive problems. Last night they couldn't. And oh yeah, by the way, it's the first game that they all played together. They might be able to figure it out defensively because I got news for you. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving ain't bad defenders.
Yeah, when they want to be.
When they want to be. I give you that.
Yeah, when they want to be, especially KD. KD can play very good defense.
I'll give you that because let me tell you something. I'm not too old to remember when LeBron James had problems with Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala. So I'm just letting you know. And Steph and Clay had a whole lot of problems guarding and being guarded by Kyrie Irving. And
James Harden is a underrated still post defender. I don't know what it is about big men trying to back down James in the post. James is a strong man. He's not going anywhere. So,
bruh.
But
and he's got extra girth on him right now. All them honey buns. But and not just James, but Clint Capella does something that only nobody's done since Shaquille O'Neal 2004. 27 points, 26 rebounds, 5 blocks, and I was one of the ones that talked about him like he stole something from me. People are funny. And you got to bring that up because he did that. Clint did that last night against my Pistons, who just cratered last night in the fourth quarter, had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost in overtime. But, you want to have a moment of silence? I mean, what do we need to do? Oh, no, because the Pistons play, hopefully, Christian Wood tomorrow with the Rockets. Christian's first game, he hurt his ankle last night. Yeah, he did. In the second quarter, rolled it bad. Yeah. And was told, according to him, by the medical staff not to resume and go back to the game at halftime. And there he was, start of the third quarter, on the floor, wincing, grimacing in pain, scored 10 points in the third quarter. Yeah. He said, he came back because he did not want to let his teammates down. Yeah. I like him. I like everything about him right now. And watch, I'm funny. He messed around and stopped playing good and stopped having that attitude. And I'm going to be trying to run his tail out of Houston like everybody else. People are funny. Kris Gardner joining us, Houston Roundball Review on the lunch break and the legendary KYOK. Kris, so what happened last night? Was it turnovers? Was it no defense? They got within 4, and then I looked up and they're down by 17. They got down by 20. I think they got as close as 2 or 3. And the defense is the biggest problem. And defense really, the issues on defense really show up when you don't have time together with all the new faces. Mm-hmm. It's easier to score when you have a 5-out offense, but defense, especially a good defense, good/great defense. Right now, the Rockets trying to be decent to good, but good to great defense. You have to know where your teammates are at all times. Mm-hmm. You got to be on a string where everybody's going to be supposed to be, how to defend the screens, how to defend the pick and rolls, all those things, who to help off of, where to be on the rotations, things like that. And the Rockets are missing that because of injuries, because of the new faces, because of initially the COVID health and safety protocols. So The defense is way behind the offense, and it's a reason why they've lost 3 in a row, a big reason why they've lost 3 in a row, not only one. But 5 last 6. In the 4 and 9. Their last 9. I mean, they've lost a lot of games here strung together. But again, Rockets are in a full rebuild. This is not a partial rebuild. This is not we rebuilding around James Harden. It's a 100% full rebuild. So do you expect spurts like this? Yes. The biggest issue, I guess the biggest disappointing thing is they're not healthy. John Wall is dealing with a knee issue now. He won't be won't play in these next 2 games, Friday and I think Saturday. His knee issue is not a long-term thing, but it's
enough of a problem to keep him out of games now, and him being out reduces time with him and Victor Oladipo. The two will learn how to play together.
Right.
Right. And more, the more you see the Rockets play, DeMarcus Cousins just ain't there. I'm not sure if it's he's still recovering from the injuries and the time off, but you can see him struggling a lot, especially the move on defense. His quickness isn't there. His explosiveness isn't there. So he's kind of behind. And Danwell House, my man, has been self-isolating. First, it was a back issue, and now he's self-isolating. So when he's cleared to play, first from the isolation, then he got to get his back issue resolved. Yeah. So that's two. House and Wall are two of your projected 5 starters that have been out for a while. So it's tough on Coach Silas to draw anything up consistently, because I think the Rockets are now in 13 games have had 9 different starting lineups.
Yeah.
It's hard to build chemistry like that.
Yeah. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Be sure to check him out, HoustonRoundballReview.com. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. I'll take a quick break. The segment brought to you by OMG Tires and More. Also, if you are a CDL licensed driver and you got a good driving record and a TWIC card, there's a reputable company looking for you. Call for more information, 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Tell them KYOK sent you. We'll be right back right after this.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary
Kris, they laughing at me, bro.
KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
I am so hyped that I'm going to be a guest on the Not So Christian and Me show this coming Saturday between 1 and 2. I don't know how much time I have, but I am excited to be on the show with Larry Scott, with his wife Denise, with Natasha, and the rest of the crew. I cannot wait. I got a lot I want to get off my chest, man. I hope they give me 5 good minutes to just get it all out, the not so Christian in me stuff, get it all out, and then I'll be good to go, man. I'll walk out of there with my head held high. You
tell me how it goes, man. Tell me where to tune in, and I will do so.
Brother, I will definitely do it. And listen, if I say something, you and I are going to be like that picture of Barack Obama and Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, where Obama has his hand in his head, and I'm sitting back like, yeah, dog. I told him people are funny. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball review. Victor Oladipo has only been here a couple of days, but what he's been saying over and over again is be patient with us. Be patient with us. You just outlined why we need to be patient. They haven't had their full complement of players. You got guys that are still dealing with COVID issues. You got John Wall still dealing with knee issues. There are a lot of people that are ready to give up on John Wall already because they thought he was damaged goods when he got here.
And that was the biggest concern when they made the trade for him and traded Russ. John Wall hadn't played a game since December 2018. And he's had a lot of different surgeries on his body. But the knee issue is kind of new. He's had tendon problems, Achilles problems, things like that. Coach Silas said that this knee issue is not a long-term thing.
Right.
So they're going to try to do the best they can to make sure they have him for the long term. So that's why they're being so cautious with him right now.
Yeah.
And Vic is so positive. He said in his first media session with the local media, and I guess now because of Zoom, national, international media, that the Rockets' better days are ahead. Mm-hmm. My man said that 4 or 5 times. Our better days are ahead. Our better days are ahead. He said repeatedly. And then last night, he said that he remains positive and optimistic about this team and this season. So I hope he's right, but they got to get healthy because, and it's not something that, if they don't get healthy, then the season just won't go anywhere. And you just chalk it up as one of those things, because it happens to teams. Sometimes it's buzzer luck. You get injuries throughout the season and you never have your full team throughout the entire season. Mm-hmm. And that happens to sometimes the teams, and you just chalk it up as one of those seasons and you move on. Hope it doesn't happen again.
Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, joining us here on the show. And then you go back to Marcus. He's not healthy. You can see he's not quite healthy. Mine might be there thinking I could still do these things. I saw him kind of take it to the hole, and that explosiveness to even dunk it wasn't there. And that's got to be difficult for a big man. I mean, it's almost like we're looking at a Mark Eaton instead of a DeMarcus Cousins.
And it's very, very, very good point. And tomorrow's opponent with the Pistons, Blake Griffin, is a similar dude. Mm-hmm. All the time and injuries have taken its toll on Blake, and his athleticism is no longer there. And, Blake struggles to finish around the rim, struggles to finish through contact, struggles to dunk like he used to. Those days are over. So tomorrow's game is a matchup with two teams with losing records, and the Pistons, they won't say it. They're trying to play and compete. They're trying to get the first pick in the draft. I'll say it for them.
Do they know that? I mean, do they know that?
The fans know it. I think Coach Casey and Coach Weaver they're still sticking with the retooling terminology, retooling rather than rebuilding. And that's why they're playing the veterans a little bit more in crunch time instead of the rookies. But they keep losing like they're doing right now, and they blew a double-digit lead to the Hawks last night in the fourth quarter, double-digit lead to the Heat in the first quarter on Monday. So inevitable, they're going to lose. Just play hard doing it.
I got you. Let me come back to the Rockets for a second. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, joining us here on Throwback Thursday. Sterling Brown had a very good game in place of James Harden right after James left. And, haven't seen anything like that. And then he wasn't available last night. Hurt? What's going on?
Hurt, injured. He was available, but nagging injuries with him. It's just a theme going throughout the team. Yeah. Somebody plays well, injury. Because when John Wall had the knee issue, I think the previous game, he played well.
Yeah.
And then something happened in that game, and the knee issue flared up, and he hasn't played since.
Yeah. And then my team favorite, Kenyon Martin Jr. What's the story on him?
I think ankle with him. We're waiting to hear from about PJ Tucker. PJ strained abdominal during the second half last night. PJ is an Iron Man, so we'll see if that's going to keep him out. This is a dude who, in the playoffs, 2-3 years ago, he had a root canal on three different teeth, whatever it is, and still played later that night in a game.
Yeah.
So he is an Iron Man. So if he cannot play because of injuries, it could be just one of those years, AJ.
Yeah, I got you. When I look at the Rockets right now, they're 4-9. They're second to last in the West, but they're only 6 games out of that number 8 spot with a whole bunch of games left to play.
And keep in mind, and I have to get into this mindset of you just got to get to 9 or 10 spot because of the new play-in that the NBA started in the bubble.
Right.
So they get to that 10th spot, then you win 2 out of 3 matchups, and you get to the playoffs. So they're not that far out of that. So they still have a chance. But first things first, you got to get healthy and stay healthy.
D Skills H-Town, nice post, said, I absolutely hate the useless reports of John Wall looking 10 years younger during the offseason. He's got a very good point. And I think I might have slid one of those in. So D Skills, my bad. I think I owe you an apology.
But John Wall was one of those people saying that.
Yeah.
John said after the surgeries, it's the best he's felt in 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So he said, those are his words.
Yeah, D Skills checking us out on YouTube. And you're right. Sometimes we'll hear those things from the player themselves, and some of us in the media will run with it like it's a fact. And which player is going to get out there and say, yo, man, I feel like I'm 90 years older than I really am. I feel like I got nothing left. I'm barely hanging on out there. To D Skills' point and to your point, we got to be able to temper those comments and really, do some real reporting when it comes to that.
Right. And, playing pickup games against, NBA players in the summer, off season is different than playing against NBA players in the regular season.
It is.
Especially coming off of all the injuries that he did.
Yeah. I gotta agree with you. Let's dive a little deeper. The San Antonio Spurs looking like Coach Pop is doing some of his best coaching right now. They got blown out last night by Golden State, but there have been some games where, you got 22 from DeJounte Murray. You got a bunch of points from Lonnie Walker Jr. DeMar DeRozan seems to be on a different level than we thought he was going to be on. And then what LaMarcus Aldridge, when he plays Portland, it's almost like he's going off on his former team. Are the Spurs a team that can maintain what they're trying to do, late into the season?
It's hard to say, AJ. I mean, they're so inconsistent. Their matchups with the Rockets, I was like, ooh, LaMarcus looked like me. I mean, he was struggling to make shots. And when he plays well and shoots well, the Spurs are much better.
Yeah.
But when he struggles, the Spurs struggle to score points.
Yeah.
And they're so up and down. And you look at, I think, teams in the East, the top 1-2 spots, both already have 5 losses.
Yeah.
This year is so different.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA has postponed, I think, 20 games now. They postponed 3 Memphis Grizzlies games, announced it today. This is just so different. It's going to be so taxing to be consistent for every team.
Yeah.
But they're going to push through and continue the season.
Yeah.
But the season's going to continue to have stops and starts. The NBA supposedly is going to enforce the post-game and pre-game rituals of players interacting with each other from different teams. They got to cut that out. COVID's still here.
Yeah.
So after I remember this, after the Lakers blasted the Rockets, I see John Wall talking to Quinn Cook after the game. John Wall, no mask, Quinn Cook. I'm like, I thought this was cut out. Y'all gotta take this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with it. And, wear the mask, wash your hands, do all those things. Y'all got to do it. We got to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to set that example and continue or resume taking this seriously because we're not done with it yet.
Right. And now we're getting different strains that are more contagious than the original strain that came out. Keith Hennick, good post, said Pop really got smoked last night, but I'm optimistic for this year. He's up in the San Antonio area, and I part of me is kind of feeling some of that early optimism that they got going on. And I'll throw Dallas in there, especially now that they've got the unicorn back, and he's come back looking like he ain't playing with everybody. He ain't playing with everybody. I'm talking about Kristaps Porzingis.
But with the Spurs, what does optimism mean? They're not a championship caliber team, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So we've lowered the bar for the Spurs, and this is
you might have a point.
The new reality with them. But KP with the Mavs coming off his injuries, playing well, shooting well, that's a huge plus for the Mavs. Mm-hmm. Luka has help.
Yeah.
Consistent help. Big man help. And that'll be a plus for Dallas going throughout the season. But again, health will be a key with him. Will KP be able to play back-to-backs? And with all the postponements that are happening in this first half of the season, that second half of the season when the schedule is announced, there might be some games scheduled, 3 games in a row. Definitely 4 out of 5 sets to try to make up these games for everybody to get that 72 games complete. So we'll see how it takes a toll on players the rest of the season.
Yeah. Luka was able to get by with what I call a little triple-double. I think he had like 11 points, 12 rebounds, and double-digit assists. But Kristaps was the big man, on the court last night. So you're right. That definitely adds some help to Luka for the Mavericks. You talked about the teams in the East. Philly 10-5, Milwaukee 9-5, Boston 8-5. That's 1, 2, and 3. And of all teams, the Pacers at number 4, 8-6. It is an odd year. Do you see any kind of situation where the NBA not only reschedules games, but they say we're not going to get through 72 of these. We're going to try and play 60 of them and get those in?
Could be. I think that number 60 is a good number to reach. I think that could be possible because even though the NBA has said, Adam Silver said it numerous times, we expected this. We expect the games to be postponed in the first half. I wonder if they had a number of postponements that they expected that they could accept or expected that they could live with.
Yeah.
And if they did, how close are we to getting to that number?
Gotcha.
Because it's not getting any better. Yeah. The Wizards had 6 or 7 players test positive, contact tracing. They, I think, had their first practice yesterday in a week or two. They were trying to play Friday, but Russ and Brad Beal were like, we're not healthy enough to play. Mm-hmm. So the league said, okay, we're going to postpone Friday's game. So we're still dealing with this. Who's to say that another team won't be hit hard like the Wizards with 6 or 7 players out with COVID because of contact tracing. Teams don't have enough 8 players to play games.
Right.
We're going to deal with that for the rest of this month, February, and who knows how long.
Yeah. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, back with us on Throwback Thursday here on the lunch break. The new dirty word in the league is the bubble. And I got to be honest with you, I loved the playoff bubble so much that I was kind of thrown back when they didn't do a regular season bubble. But just hearing LeBron say, I got to go and stay in one spot for 6 months, 5 months, just to entertain people, it took a different meaning for me. Is there a certain part of the season or a point in the season when that's the only way they can get it done?
That goes back to what I said about, what number of postponements will the league accept?
Yeah.
Because if they reach that or exceed that, then you got to look at a bubble again.
Yeah.
I don't believe that they're going to get to that point because if they go to a bubble, let's say for February, then you got February, March, April, May, June, and maybe July for playoffs.
Yeah.
The players aren't going to do that again.
And you know what? Again, I'm not that important that I feel like they should have to do that to entertain me. And I use myself collectively for everybody else. It is not that serious that we got to lock people away from their families, their livelihoods, and what have you, just to entertain us. And I forget who said it. One of the veteran players who said, "Listen, if I got to stay in my hotel room and I can't go see my family, then maybe we shouldn't be playing."
Yeah. But we're going to keep playing because of the money. That's what it comes down to. AJ, we all know this. The money makes the world go around, and that's why the league pushed to have the season start 3 days before Christmas, have those 5 games on Christmas for the TV ratings, for the partners to get their money and all those things. That's why I started early, because initially the talk was to have the season start this week.
Yeah.
On an MLK Day.
Right.
But they pushed it to December, a few days before Christmas, because they would generate more money.
Yeah.
Starting earlier.
Yeah. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Kris, I got one short break. Can you stay with me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me take a quick break. We'll come back with Kris Gardner. Again, if you are a CDL licensed driver with a good driving record and a TWIC card, there is a reputable company that would like to speak with you. The number for more information, 832-767-3211, 832-767-3211. If you're a CDL licensed driver with a good driving record and a TWIC card, they are looking for you. We'll be right back. Segment brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
It is the lunch break here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's our Throwback Thursday. Here throwing back with me is Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. And Kris, I know you cover more than just the NBA. U of H got some a slight measure of revenge against Tulsa, who handed them their first loss. It wasn't even close this time, Doc.
Their only loss so far this season. Yesterday was tough for me because U of H Tulsa game was at 7. Rockets Sun was at 8:30. The post game for U of H was around 9:10. So I participated in that. Had to wait around for the Rockets Suns game in the end because 8:30 starts. Just cannot stand it.
Yeah, that was brutal.
So I still haven't written up post game write-ups for either game, but I got the video, and both are on my YouTube channel, Houston Roundball Review. But yes, U of H won 86-59, and Jawan Roberts, redshirt, and Tremont Mark, freshman, both said, I asked both of them, did they kind of remember the loss, the 1-point loss at Tulsa, and use last night as kind of like getting some revenge? And they said, yeah, we both, all the players, as you know, Coach Sampson won't touch that part of it. Mm-hmm. But the players are like, oh yeah, we remember that 1-point loss, and we played tougher, more competitive. We raised our level of focus and all those things. But yeah, they looked at that and they avenged that loss, that 1-point loss, in a big way. And now they're 12-1 overall, 7-1 in the conference, and most important, you know, they're 8th in the AP polls and the USA Today poll, but most important, they're 5th as of yesterday in the NCAA net ranking. And that's the most important thing, because that really is one of the newer indicators that the basketball selection committee uses in terms of seeding for the tournament.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's where I was going to go next. With where U of H is right now and how they bounce back on a loss like that, they keep going the way they are. They're in contention for a number 1 seed and definitely in the mix for a number 2 seed in the March Madness tournament. Am I reading this wrong or what?
Number 2 seed for sure. I think they need some help to get on that 1 seed line right now. Obviously, Gonzaga and Baylor are clear number ones.
Right.
And then you're looking at Villanova, who's been out for a while as well as another number one. But U of A is on the 2 seed line in terms of, I think, the latest bracket projections that I saw yesterday or earlier this week. So, but it's not going to be much home court. There won't be any, fans.
Yeah.
The NCAA hasn't really announced how many fans that they will allow in Indianapolis, because it's going to be a general location, a controlled environment in Indianapolis. And some of the AJ, the NCAA says they prefer the term controlled environment. You are correct. It's a bubble, but they prefer the term controlled environment playing in Indianapolis. And that's the fellas, because on the women's side, we'll have a controlled environment in San Antonio. You can go and say bubble again if you want to. It's fine. The smile on your face says it all. The smirk on your face says it all.
People are funny, man. People are absolutely funny. So I what do you think about the tournament? We go have this tournament. The tournament generates hundreds of millions of dollars. They forewent it last year on the men's and women's side. They ain't, excuse my broken English, they ain't finna do that again this year if there's any way possible, and they're already planning it.
Oh, yeah. The women's committee announced that it's going to be a 64-team tournament, period. The men's, same. It was 68 on the fella side. It's going to happen because of the almighty dollar.
Right.
Women's teams, SMU, Tina Thompson's Virginia squad, forfeited. They decided not to play. They opted out. So it's happened more on the women's side of teams deciding to not play. Doesn't matter. There will be a tournament on both sides. Kim Mulkey, Baylor's head coach, said the reason we're doing all this, and Baylor was hit hard by COVID on the women's side, including Coach Mulkey.
Yeah.
We're doing this because of the dollar. Duh.
Yeah.
That's not a news flash.
Right.
The reason we are asking all these student assets to do this is because of the dollar. And because last year we lost because the tournament was canceled, the payouts to the member schools was reduced by, I think, $355 million. So that hurt the bottom line and budgets for a whole bunch of schools.
Yep. I'm sorry. Somebody just came in messing with me, Doc, and I'm trying to stay out of trouble, trying to keep my job so you have a place to come back in on Thursdays, Kris. Kim Mulkey's comments were interesting because she's normally outspoken and pretty brash, but there was a sense of this is bigger than me. There was a sense of I don't have control over this. I'm a bad woman, but I ain't badder than this, because she's recovering from it. And like she said, this is all about the almighty dollar.
And this isn't the first time she made those comments. She said this last month in a media session call, about this, the reason why we're going to have a tournament, because on the men's side, it's all about the dollar. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, she was the first coach I heard suggest the possibility that there will be games with 6 players. That was the minimum allowed for the Big 12 conference. That if you had 6 healthy players, you had to play.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm trying not to go into a whole another different dialogue about this. This is very telling about who we are. I mean, I know we love what we do, and this is, our bread and butter, if you will, but it is very telling what we are willing to sacrifice and throw out there just to get what we're used to getting, and I'm talking about.
And, Coach Mulkey is correct, but I do have to toss some pebbles her way, because during games, she had a mask on around her neck, and she wouldn't wear it correctly. So what she said is correct, but also she was one of the main coaches that you could see during the broadcast not wearing her mask correctly.
Yeah. I've seen it several coaches on the men's side. I keep saying, listen, if I was the player, I'd be like, yo, coach, pull your mask up or tell me that later. Text it to me, because it's just not, if you're not going to do the right thing, I'm not going to get sick because you're not doing the right thing.
And exactly. And I know it's difficult. It's not something that we're used to or accustomed to, and it's harder for the players to hear you and all those things. You still got to do it. Wear your mask correctly.
And I'm not even going to let folks make that mistake excuse anymore. there are all kinds of masks on the market right now. There are all kinds of masks where you can talk to them, breathe through them, work out in them. So you mean to tell me, and I just because I like to pick on Michigan State, you mean to tell me Michigan State can't afford to go out and get their coach a mask that he can talk to and breathe through and can wear correctly without, spitting in the face of the young men? Nah.
And see, that point right there is, if they wanted to, the NCAA, they could have partnered with one of those distributors, to have masks for all their coaches,
right,
staff, players, student assets, to wear those masks, and wouldn't have this issue.
Yep.
Could have helped solve this. We're gonna get this a while ago.
I'm in agreement, man. I mean, if you're gonna put us out here with the right stuff.
Yes.
So, all right. Anything on the women's side you want to bring? How's our girl doing over at? I'm sorry. Let me say that better. How's Coach doing over at TSU on the women's side?
They're struggling.
I know.
Health-wise, they're struggling, and I think they're down to 8 players.
Yeah.
They've dealt with COVID issues, and now I think players are injured.
Yeah.
I think they have now played 4 games this season. I think so. It's where we are. I mean, and I'm saying this. It would not shock me. I'm not expecting it because Coop is so headstrong, but it would not shock me if they decide, because of health and issues, that they'd opt out for the rest of the season at some point if it doesn't get any better for them.
Yeah. Which would be tough, man. Which would be tough. Her first season, a lot of these young ladies coming there because of her, and just wanting to do what they love doing. It's tough, man. This is not in any way normal. So,
and AJ, I say that to colleagues. I'm just trying to get to next season.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is where I am. I'm just trying to get to next season.
Yeah. I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I hope you don't mind. One of the things we're going to talk about on this Not So Christian and Me show on Saturday is about taking the vaccine. What are your thoughts about the vaccine, about taking it or not taking it?
My mom got her first one Saturday. When I am, I guess, in my age group, I'm going to get it done. Yes. Oh my gosh. I know the history of it and the concerns of it that many of us have about it.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm going to get the vaccine and hope for the best. My mom has had no issues with her after her shot. She has health issues and MS and battled cancer and all kinds of things, but she has had no issues and with hers. So hopefully I'll have that same fortune when I get it, wherever it is, March, April, whenever it is. I'm going to get it done. But I do know some friends and colleagues who have said, man, I'll be the last man on the team to get the vaccine. So if that's May, June, July, I'll be one of the last ones to get it done.
Yeah.
I understand that.
What's interesting is a lot of us who are saying that, because I've said it too, we've been vaccinated all throughout our lives.
Yep.
We've been vaccinated for mumps and polio and you name it, bunch of different stuff. So we could go to school. Many of us have been vaccinated. And did we not think these things then? I mean, what's the big issue now?
It's become so political.
I got you.
And I don't know why. I mean, and state of Texas is a really big anti-vax state.
Yeah, it is.
And has spread so much misinformation about vaccines that a lot of people read that stuff, believe that stuff. And it's another thing where we are. I trust the science. I'm much more science focused than some people.
Same here.
That's me. That doesn't make me right or wrong.
Right.
I trust the science. And because of that, I will be getting the vaccine when I am allowed to do so. Yeah.
I appreciate you, Kris. Thank you for being very transparent with that. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you right there at the Houston Roundball Review.
HoustonRoundballReview.com, TheHRR.com, Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, as well as Instagram, Twitter, TheHR Review, a little bit different, TheHR Review on Twitter, HoustonRoundballReview.com, local name, national perspective.
My brother, y'all follow him. Check him out over there on YouTube. Check out the website. And you know what? Send some love his way. And you know what I mean? Send some love his way. Kris, thank you, brother. We'll talk to you next Thursday, if not sooner.
Thank you, man. As always, I appreciate the time.
We appreciate you, man. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Listen, let me get out of the way real quick and get Sybil Wilkes on with her latest COVID-19 update. She's got a lot that she's been updating us on, so it's good stuff. You got it right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. Inauguration Day 2021 was a day of solemnity, but also one of great celebration, honor, and history. The excitement was palpable as Kamala Devi Harris, the first woman, first African American, and first Asian American, was sworn in as Vice President of the United States. And with words of hope and promises of a more unified government, President Joe Biden sought to turn the pages of history of the last 4 years, and especially the last 2 weeks. A year ago, the first coronavirus case in the U.S. was confirmed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Today, more than 24 million cases of the coronavirus have been diagnosed in the U.S., and more than 400,000 Americans have lost their lives to COVID-19, representing the highest death toll in the world. President Biden has vowed to make the pandemic a top priority, and yesterday he signed his first executive order requiring that masks be worn on all federal properties. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
What's up with it?
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and this is definitely trouble. This is definitely trouble. And I'm excited, y'all. I am excited because people are funny. People are hilariously funny. You know what? Let me turn around and get my mic. So, I'm sorry. People are not funny, especially not you. Thank you. I think I'm going to have to take a break. On the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live on KYOK Radio.org. Please, won't somebody help me, please? I got to take a break. I got to top of the hour coming up. Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on, man. Hold on. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to do the rest of the show from back here. I don't think that's going to... Oh, no. You know, you're like somebody in a scary movie. Just where you don't even see them coming, and there they are. Can you please let me finish my show? I'm trying to get the award for the station. We're trying to be the best sports show in town. I can't even get through my show. Stop laughing at me, y'all. Stop it. You win. You win. I'll do whatever you want me to do, however you want me to do it. This is not right. They don't have to go through this on ESPN. They ain't going through this on Fox Sports. I'm sorry. I don't care what they're going through. I don't even care about them. Listen, y'all stand by on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Put that away. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. I'm going to the house. When I step on the field, Send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much pride from that. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm glad you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my way.
Hey, Monica, I swear.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. We're going to disregard that whole last segment of the show. Just disregard it. Right after Kris Gardner got off, right after Sybil Wilkes got done, just delete that part from the record. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. I do, but I don't want y'all to know what happened. Yes, I am ticklish. Yes. I mean, painfully ticklish. Like, I will normally tear up stuff, but this stuff belonged to somebody else, so I had to just deal with it. So anyway, I ask people that when I'm trying to get to know, are you ticklish? Like, that's an important question. I needs to know, because if they're ticklish, they're probably not gonna tickle you. If they're not, they don't know how to stop messing with you. So anyway. Rockets defense and turnovers let them down 109-103 to Phoenix last night. Third loss in a row, fifth out of their last 6 games. We'll see if they can get right when they visit Detroit tomorrow at 6. Speaking of Detroit, Clint Capella went off on them. First player since Shaq in 2004 to have at least 25 points, 25 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots. He finished with 27, 26, and 5 in Atlanta's 123-115 win over Detroit. Spurs no match for Steph Curry and Golden State, losing 121-99. They got 22 from DeJounte Murray in the loss. They're going to host Dallas tomorrow at 7:30. Dallas beat the Pacers 124-112. Luka Doncic had a triple-double in that win. Patrick Mahomes did a walkthrough with KC as they get ready to host Buffalo in the AFC Championship game this coming Sunday at 5:40 live on CBS. That's 5:40 Central. And then the early game will be Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay hosting Tom Aloysius Brady and the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. That'll be at 2:05 Central on Fox. Astro fans got some good news yesterday. Michael Brantley is staying in Houston. Published reports had him going to Toronto with George Springer, and the Astros threw together a 2-year, $32 million deal, and Brantley said, ball game, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Monique Mosley said, I can't unsee or unhear that. Yeah, you can. You just don't want to. You can do it. You can do it. Just do it. Yep. You can. You can do it. All right, let me see if we got any breaking news out there in the world of sports. Any breaking news out there in the world of sports. Want to again shout out to my guy, my brother, King Tony Wyatt from Mo City Gazette. Tony's one of the good dudes out there, man. I really appreciate him and all the amazing work he does. Let's see. Anything Anything. Oh man, you know what? This kind of stuff right here. Lions' new coach has had enough of losing in Detroit in passionate opening press conference. Dan Campbell. First of all, Dan, talk about the Captain Obvious category. No head coach is going to come into a new job, their first full-time head coaching job, and say, oh yeah, we're just going to continue losing. We're cool with that. I'm tired of losing. Yeah, okay. What else you got? I mean, I'm not trying to, people are funny. I'm being funny right now. I'm just like, come on, bro. Give me something that we don't know. And oh yeah, by the way, they weren't losing when they had Jim Caldwell. The losing started before Jim Caldwell. The losing started after Jim Caldwell with Matt Patricia. And you want to say something about, man, I'm glad management finally made the right decision and brought somebody in who's going to do everything they can to, change the losing culture that the organization has been under for the last, how many years was Matt Patricia there? Rock with that. That would be like, wow. But Dan Campbell coming in and going off on, I'm tired of losing. Okay, Dan, appreciate it. Have a nice day. Thanks for the soundbite. The Lions. I'm more interested to see what the new general manager is going to do in Detroit than Dan Campbell. About the only thing that I'm interested in seeing Dan Campbell do is to see who his starting quarterback is going to be. I'm pretty sure that Matthew Stafford is done in Detroit. So who is going to be the new quarterback of the Detroit Lions? That's what I'm interested in. Because to me, it's probably going to be somebody like Sam Darnold, Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, Ryan Fitzpatrick, just to name a few, Mike Glennon. That just feels like who Detroit is going to go with at quarterback. I don't see them doing anything like Cam Newton or Jameis Winston or Tyrod Taylor. I don't see anything like that. Robert Griffin III would even be interesting in that spot. I don't see them bringing in Colin Kaepernick. Detroit. Dan Campbell's tired of losing. All right, Dan. Thanks, bro. All right, next. Who else is coming in for the interview? Can we go to the next person? Interesting. In case of emergencies, ranking backup quarterbacks. Chad Henne right now is the one everybody is saying, like, hey, man, if Chad's got to go, we're going with Chad. That's what he did at the end of that division round game. I told y'all the truth. I had a transparent moment. Chad Henne made me cuss. It was my first bad word for the year. And I didn't want to get two in the same night. So everything he did after that was like, oh, Chad. That was my way of saying, stop it. And then he got that first down on that fourth down. I loved me some Chad after that. No way in the world was I going to watch Buffalo and Cleveland in the AFC championship game. No way I was going to watch it. I promise you, I would have watched ice skating. I would have watched synchronized swimming. I would have watched the luge, then watch Cleveland and Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. Baker Mayfield versus Josh Allen? Nah, I promise you, I wouldn't have known nothing about that game except for the stats after it. I'm glad Chad got that first down. I'm glad Chad ran for his life to get a first down. Chad is my guy. If Patrick Mahomes can't play, Chad Henne better come in there and go Frank Reich on him. You remember when Frank Reich came in for Jim Kelly against Pittsburgh. Against the Oilers. That's where Chad Henne better go. Keith Hennig. I've seen a lot of Chad Henne. Not great. Hey, he went to Michigan. What can you expect? Can't expect much there. That was mean. Ohio State. What can I say? All right. So number 2 quarterback is Matt Barkley from the Bills. Overrated. Blaine Gabbert from the Bucks. Tim Boyle for the Packers. They better hope Aaron Rodgers don't go down. That dude did. Yeah. That's what they got for backup quarterbacks in the game. I told y'all yesterday, the NFL is not as concerned about hiring black head coaches, black general managers, black quarterbacks as some of us are. They're just not. It's not that big of a deal because they don't really see a problem. Let me take a break. Segment brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359. Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
All right, don't forget, if you are a licensed CDL driver with a good driving record and a TWIC card, there is a reputable company that's interested in speaking with you. The number to dial for more information, 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Tell them AJ at KYOK sent you. We go phone line. Caller of the year 2017, very first caller on this show ever, standing by. Ferdinand, what up, though?
What's going on, AJ, and the lunch breaker?
Hey, man, it's a truthful Thursday, bro, and I just had to tell them the truth. The NFL owners, they ain't as concerned about hiring black general managers, black head coaches, and having black quarterbacks as some of us are. It's just not important to them. They don't see a problem. They don't want to be told who to hire. They don't want to be told how to put their teams together. And that's why you see some of them going in with Matt Barkley and Mike Glennon and Blaine Gabbert as their backups because, hey, they'll go with who they want to go with.
Well, you have a system in place that won't change. I mean, it's very ironic, in the way which they do things every day, but it's like, man, boy, something like that to happen, we really would have to start our own league. We have opportunities. We're smart. We're resilient people. We qualify for those type of jobs. Why we don't get them like we should remains to be seen, but it doesn't surprise me. So the thing of the matter is, man, the only thing we can do is just while they're still in existence, just keep applying for those jobs. But it's just not going to happen. You have a good old boy system that'll never change. For yourself, look how long it took for a black owner to own a team in the NASCAR circuit.
Yeah.
Decades. So when it comes to being equal, AJ, it's just not there.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah, it ain't there yet. It definitely is not there yet. And, again, the way that people vilify guys like Kyrie Irving and others who talk about not just ownership, but starting their own league is beyond me. Because when it happens, and it's going to happen, then all of a sudden, like I've been saying all show long, people are funny when they see how good it'll be. Then, oh, yeah, that's great. Why didn't they do this before? Because people like you are funny. And on another note, the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team partly owned by former Senator Kelly Loeffler, is very close to being sold to another group. So the WNBA is very close to being done with her. And LeBron James has talked about putting a group together to buy the Atlanta Dream. I don't know if it's his group that's close to the sale or not, but they're on the verge of getting rid of her.
Yeah, and that's what has to happen. AJ, we're in a position now where we have revenue. We got to get brilliant-minded people together and form some leagues that are better, suit us. AJ, you won a couple of those football games at the University of Houston. Was it that league that they?
Yeah, I went to the XFL, the Houston Roughnecks, and I even went up to San Antonio to the AAF games with the San Antonio Commanders. And both of those leagues looked like they had a legit shot to do something. I think the XFL was a little bit more entertaining, but the AAF in San Antonio had bigger crowds than the XFL ever had at U of H.
So you're talking about a football place, a football country. So the thing about it is just getting, guys like, Jones. What's his name? I can't call it. Jones. What's his gentleman's name, AJ? Jones. He comes on with you.
Oh, Garrett Jones. Garrett.
Yeah. So we need to get guys like Garrett and some others together and just, make some things happen. What is happening in the NFL is going to continue to happen. It's not going to never change.
Well, Ferdinand, that's where I go back to my theme of the day, that people are funny, because people expect a new league to come in and be just as good, if not better, than the NFL. And here it's taken 100 years for the NFL to get where it is. It's not going to happen overnight. And sometimes you just got to be patient. And then other times you just got to realize sometimes it's going to be different. It's not going to be exactly like the NFL. The people know that they can go to the NFL and get what they want from there. When you go to the XFL or the AAF or some new league, you ought to be able to see what you want to see there, not the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm not one of those gentlemen. Nothing in life stays the same, AJ. A baby doesn't stay on infamil. So change is great.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with, being a part of what the NFL is doing. Look, at the end of the day, revenue is what makes this world go around.
Right.
we can't stay under their radar because they didn't, they had a good system going. AJ, we can have good systems going, no matter how long it takes. Just like you said, it took the NFL millions of years to get to where they are. Man, look, we're in a time, AJ, where things are different. Things are changing. Things are evolving. And so we can be a part of that. But like I say, if you don't step out on faith and do nothing, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So I just think we have a plethora of brilliant-minded people that can come together collectively, and we can make some things happen. Nothing happens overnight, but with a strategic plan, it can happen.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I got to take a quick break. You want to hold real quick, or you?
I hold.
Okay, stay right there. Got another call holding as well. We'll be back with both those calls right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's Throwback Thursday.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, looking forward to being a guest on the Not So Christian and Me show this coming Saturday, right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. You can also stream it live at KYOKradio.org. It'll be this Saturday at 1 o'clock. Looking forward to it. All right, Ferdinand, coming back to you real quick.
Yeah, AJ, I'll be quick. No one wants to deviate from NFL. I mean, a lot of us love what's going on with the NFL. Only thing we can do, AJ, is continue to apply for those jobs, general manager jobs, coaching jobs, and whatever until, something breaks. And so not wanting to start another league or whatever just because of the NFL. No, it's just something that would better suit what we love. That's all. So you have guys, AJ, that play football, college football, that will never see the NFL.
Yep.
And so I would love to have seen some of Eddie Robinson guys. Yeah, come on, AJ. I mean, we've seen some great coaches. So, I mean, it's opportunity out there, and I'll leave with this. One of my friends, AJ, he passed away, God bless him. He said, Mustang, he said, man, there's enough money out there for everybody.
Right.
And he was the reason why I formed the Zydeco band. He said, man, it's enough talent. There's enough money out there for everybody, but you have to step out on faith and make things happen. So that's what we have to do, and I'll leave you with that.
Ferdinand, I love that saying. It kind of reminds me of that movie One Night in Miami when Sam Cooke said, I don't want a piece of the pie, I want the recipe.
Amen.
All right, Ferdinand, you take it easy, man. Let me know when that Zydeco band is out there again. I want to check you out. All right, brother?
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Ferdinand, always a good caller. Let's go to another caller holding. Hello, you live on the lunch break. Who's this?
AJ, it's
Todd.
Hey, Todd, what's going on, brother? Long time no talk to. You all right?
I'm good. I just had a little break before I got to get on this conference call.
I got you. Well, let's get you in. Sorry to have you holding so long.
Well, no, I watched it. I got NBA League Pass, so I was able to watch that Nets game last night. A lot of firepower. The thing that concerns me about the Nets is when you get to the playoffs, that big three is going to have to log a ton of minutes.
Yeah, somebody who covers the Nets, Renee P. Washington, was saying that they have no bench. They have, and you said that, I think, that they sacrificed their bench to make that deal happen, and it showed up on them last night.
I still think, you know what, the good thing about the Nets of them making this trade this early, you can see if it works up until the trade deadline, right? And if it doesn't, you can still make another move. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Versus making this Harden trade at the trade deadline and you're pretty much stuck.
Yep.
You know, throughout the rest of the year. So they'll experiment with it. They'll try this big three, and if they get up to the trade deadline and they're like, hey, this is just not working how we thought it would work. You know, we actually do need a couple bigs to protect the basket. Don't be surprised. Now, I think if they moved on from one of those three, I think it would be Kyrie, you know, for different reasons. But I think they would stick with James because James has just been more durable, you know.
Yeah.
From health perspective, he's always been there in the playoffs. You know, come playoff time, he's not hurt. Kyrie's injury history. So I think they're going to experiment with it come trade deadline and feel like, man, we getting killed down low. We can't get boards. We can't protect the rim. Don't be surprised if they move Kyrie, get a couple bigs and maybe a wing shooter. You know, so that's my concern with that team is I could see Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James having to play like 43, 45 minutes in a playoffs, and that's if you're trying to make a playoff run, man, that's a lot of. You saw what it did to LeBron that one year.
Yep.
In the finals, you're eventually going to just run out of gas.
Yeah, that's one of the things about having D'Antoni in that building on that coaching bench, because he does not use a lot of people during the playoffs. And Steve Nash, in his first season as a head coach, if he's leaning on D'Antoni for what to do down the playoff stretch, those guys are going to log a lot of minutes, and they're not going to go very deep into the bench. But I will say this, one thing I know about having been here in Houston, you can literally turn over your roster, you can literally turn over your bench by the trade deadline. Daryl Morey has done it a couple of times. He's done it a couple of times without trading away the key players, and he has done it by moving key players, like when he moved Clint Capella and some others, back in the day. So yeah, they got till March 25th. They can turn that bench over and get that thing a little stronger.
Yeah, because I mean, the way I look at it though is, like with the Rockets, what Morey did, he always had, it was always like a big two and then a supporting cast, right? It was Paul, Howard, then tried Westbrook, but then you had enough money where you could have PJ Tucker, Gordon. He had help, you know what I mean? I mean, he had some guys around James Harden that is, that can contribute.
Yeah.
I don't see in the Nets, I don't see the PJ Tucker on the team, right? I don't see the Eric Gordon, you know what I mean? Some of those pieces. But when I look at the model, it really looks like to me, they're trying to put the big three together like the Heat had with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, when the Heat basically had no bench either.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It may work. It may not. Just have to kind of see a little bit more. But I know from last night, because I watched that whole game, they just couldn't get stops.
Yeah.
I mean, they just could not get stops. And I thought they were going to win that game at one point. So
Sexton went off, Doc. Sexton was on one last night.
Man, AJ, I was watching that game, and the second overtime, he was draining threes.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it like, man, is this dude really doing this?
Ja Morant, following him, watch that game made it really interesting, man, because he was like, oh, my God, Sexton's on one right now. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah. It was good. It was good stuff.
I wonder also too. I saw Emmanuel Acho was talking about the Rooney Rule, right?
Yeah.
On Twitter, he said 18 years ago they started the Rooney Rule, and we still got the same issues, today. He's saying we got a race issue in the NFL.
I don't think that issue is ever going to get fixed until you can somehow fix the discrepancy in ownership.
Yeah, no, and Todd, I promise you, I'm not cutting you off. It's that until you affect a billionaire owner in a way that affects him, he ain't changing. He ain't changing. I don't care about draft picks. I don't care about I got to interview certain numbers of minorities or whatever. Until you affect them in a way that affects them, will they not do anything different?
Yeah, so I just don't know. It seems like we have this conversation every year once when we see coaches get fired, see who will fill it, but I just don't see it changing. I don't see it. Let me give you an example. You can speak to this more than I can, right?
Yep.
So you and I had this conversation a long time ago. You said in black-owned businesses, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm trying to go off memory. You said in black-owned businesses, they typically don't just hire people that look like themselves. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. So let's say the NFL, every owner in the NFL was black. Okay.
Yep.
Every single owner. Would we have the same issue, quote unquote issue, that we have now, where the reverse would be white coaches saying, "Hey, how come we couldn't get jobs?"
Yeah. Let me say it like this: if we know what we know today, and it was in a predominantly black-owned business, ownership in the NFL, then my answer would be no, we wouldn't see that because black owners would remember what they went through before they got to the place of power. They will hire the best available candidates. The pool would be bigger because they at least know who some of the up-and-coming black coaches are, who are black coaches that all they need is a chance, what have you, general managers, quarterbacks, you name it. But if it was a situation where the owners did not have the knowledge of what it felt like to not be in that situation, then you very well could have that. You very well could have the black owners just hiring from the pool of people that they were most familiar with, most comfortable with, and those who were most like them.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just always going to be until you fix that component. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you go to a billionaire owner or multimillionaire and say, "Hey, we want you to hire this candidate." You know what I mean? Like, let me give you a poor analogy. Do you remember what was the defensive end that came out of Missouri? What was the kid? What was his name? Sam something?
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank on it too, but I know the first openly gay player to get drafted.
Right. So there was talk that the NFL made a call to the was it the Rams? Yeah, Michael Sam.
Michael Sam. That's it.
So made a call to the Rams. Hey, draft this player, right? So I don't know. I don't know how you ever fix that issue. I think it'd be something 30 years from now, AJ, if I'm God willing, you and I are both still alive, you're still on air, we talking about the same exact.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, Todd, there is nothing in the world that forces or affects a billionaire to do anything different right now. If he doesn't, what does he lose? Nothing. He's not going to lose draft picks. He's not going to lose money. Not going to lose anything. And in his mind, again, it's not a problem. In these owners' minds, it's not a problem. They feel like they're doing the right thing by hiring the best people available. And I'm not beating up on Dan Campbell, but come on. Dan Campbell is the best coach available out there right now. Out of all the pool of coaches right now, Dan Campbell is the best guy available to turn around of all franchises, Detroit.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
No, the Dan Campbell one, that was the one I was like, he already had his opportunity. I think it was in Miami.
5-7 as the interim head coach in Miami. 5-7.
Yeah, and he was absolute. I mean, horrible.
Mr. Rah-Rah, and we're going to do it, run through, you know, kind of Ed Orgeron-ish. And in his interview, he says, or in his first press conference, he says he's sick and tired of the losing in Detroit. Wow. Okay. All right. There you go.
You know, but if we take it off of, you know, the NFL, these hiring practices go on in corporate America and everywhere as well.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm not coming for your favorite school's conference, but, you know, for the what was it, the commissioner of the Big 12 to say out of all of the athletic directors that they have in the Big 12 right now, none of them have hired a black head coach before.
Oh, really? Wow. I didn't know that. So in the Big 12, the current ADs that are there, no matter what the sport, none of them have hired a black coach?
None of them have hired a black coach before.
Well, okay. So let me
think they were, let me correct that. I think they were talking about football. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
The reason I say it must be football or basketball is because Kris Connie at UT, one of his first hires there was a track coach, and he's black.
Yeah.
Maybe they're talking about maybe football or basketball.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I wouldn't dispute that. Probably the major, maybe the big two, if you will, football and basketball. And I think I told you this before. I know at UT they'll never hire. Not to say never, but in my lifetime, I don't see them ever hiring a black head football coach again.
Which is unfortunate.
That's not a shot at Charlie.
Yeah.
But I think schools, the way they look at that, they'll say, we tried that once, and almost like it's a checkbox, if that makes sense.
Yep, and that's the unfortunate thing. That's the extremely unfortunate thing, because use that same logic. And that tells you you should either never hire another white head coach again. You should never hire a former assistant coach from anywhere else again. Whatever UT has done consistently has not worked since. Who's the last person to win a national championship there? Mac Brown?
Let me hit you with this. This is something I thought was really profound I heard on the air a couple weeks ago, okay? There was a guy on a radio show in Austin said, if Texas cared about basketball like they do football, they would have fired Shaka 2 or 3 years ago. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought of it like that. I mean, obviously, I know from being a fan, they care about football more than basketball. And I thought about it, and I was like, man, he's right. You know, but one thing about Shaka that has bought him time, and I think this is a lesson for anybody working a job or wherever, of a contrasting difference between him and Tom Herman, is Shaka is very well liked in that building.
Yeah.
You know, very well liked.
Yeah.
A good quality person, right? Not sketchy, not rough around the edges. But now going back to what I was saying about Charlie, I think Charlie felt a lot of weight for black coaches when he took that Texas job.
Yep.
And when it didn't work, I remember comments he made afterwards. He goes, I feel like I failed because now other schools are going to look at this.
Right.
And make an excuse of why they can't go hire a black coach because what happened here with me.
Correct. Tyrone Willingham, same thing at Notre Dame. They'll probably never hire another black head coach there in the near future, which is unfortunate, because those are two programs that, you know, again, they're the holy grail, if you will. They're the blue bloods, and for another qualified black head coach to not get those jobs because of other black head coaches, different recruiting, different players, a whole bunch of variables, but because of them, they're not going to get a fair shot. It's tough, bro. It's real tough. And let me just throw this in real quick, because I found myself avoiding saying this. When's Ohio State ever had a black head coach?
Alabama? Yeah,
Alabama.
Georgia?
I mean, let's not put it all on Texas, on Notre Dame, on Oklahoma, but South Carolina, Alabama, all your blue bloods in the college football playoffs. I got news for you. All of them are on the line. Just because Ohio State has had and does have a black athletic director, he ain't out there running around getting black head coaches.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, so I just don't know how you fix it, man. I don't think it's fixable unless you get black ownership in the NFL that has a seat at that table that says, you know what, we're going to hire this guy this time. You know, we've been trying this other approach. It's not working.
And Todd, that's why I say it's going to take a different league. And the reason why I say is because the NFL still has power. The other owners have power over other owners.
Yep.
And there's certain things that they won't just allow them to do. And there are bylaws and rules that can allow them to vote somebody out. So, you know, I'm not promoting segregation. What I'm saying is it's going to take, you know, like-minded thinking people to put something together where everybody can just be free to be free.
Yeah, no, so it's sad, man. It's you know, I think I told this a while back when I was listening to All the Smoke with Matt Barnes.
Todd, stay right there. Give me a 60-second break. 60 seconds. Okay, I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break segment brought to you by the good folks over at the Tax Doctor and Lily right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
You're listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
All right, y'all, we're back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Let me go back to the phone line. Todd Malcolm standing by. Todd, I hope you didn't lose your point.
No, I got it. So when I was listening to All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, they had a couple coaches on there. Man, the former Memphis coach, Fisdale. And the way they describe the way NBA teams looked at black assistant coaches is almost like handlers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And not really like of legitimate coaches was just unbelievable when I listened to it. But that's I think, you know, for a lot of areas, that's we still have that problem. That's not just in basketball; it's football too.
Yep.
But man, I wish I had a way to, you know, fix it. I just don't know how you fix it.
Todd, let me just say this. Let me take the moment to say this. I just appreciate the fact that you and Keith Hennig and others even care enough to try and understand it, to recognize it, and to want to fix it. I believe that that's how it gets started. You never know, what impact you'll have on somebody in your sphere of influence that will have on somebody else and theirs and somebody else and theirs, till you finally get to one of those decision makers and then they do something different. That's, to me, how it spreads. But it all starts with at least recognizing it, wanting to recognize it, and wanting to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, what I try to do in my own time is I like to listen to different things that's going to challenge my just way of thinking, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
It may not be I always agree with something that on every show that I listen to, but it may give me a different perspective. But, you know, the way they were talking about on All the Smoke of just way black assistant coaches were treated was just, it was unbelievable. So the level playing field is definitely, it's definitely not equal. It's definitely not fair. But, you know, I just hope and pray it can get better at some point in the future. I don't know how we get there until the wealth of power starts to shift.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I say it's going to have to take an equal or someone who has the ability to influence something that matters to a person that doesn't have a need of much other than more money. You know what I mean? So billionaires are affected by stuff differently than millionaires are, and 100,000aires are, and less than that. So it's going to take something like that. I keep talking about another league. It's not even so much that it has to be comparable to the NFL. It took the NFL 100 years to get where they are now. If it has something that takes a part of the pie away, the billionaires in the NFL want to be a $20 billion league. If they go from 15 to 12 instead of from 15 to 17, that's going to catch their attention. And notice you only took a couple of $1 billion away from them. And to me, there are viable spaces and ways to do that if we just get the right people behind it and give it the chance to grow, develop, and work.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. AJ, hey, appreciate it as always. Have a good rest of your show, okay?
You too, brother. Tell the family we say hello.
Thanks, man.
All right, Keith Hennig. Hey, Keith, I see you right there. But Todd Malcolm, good brother. Again, I do. I'm not just saying that because it's him. I appreciate folks who at least take the time to care and try and understand what somebody other than them, someone that looks like them, is going through. And Keith has been consistent. Todd has been consistent. Others have been consistent. I appreciate my brothers back home, you know, JD and John and Carl, guys like that who, you know, I know them from jump. I believe we got enough. I believe we got enough of the right open-minded people to make a change, but it starts with making the change consistently. You know, we can't have these kind of conversations with me on the lunch break, and then when you get with your other friends, like, oh yeah, man, them black folks, they just always complaining, they always feeling like victims, they always feel like we got to give them something. You cannot have those two kind of conversations and think you're gonna bring about change. And I'm not saying Keith or Todd or Carl or JD or John that they do. I know they don't. That's why at the end of my show, I say, when you see that racism, kill it. Racism doesn't always have to be aggressive. It doesn't always have to be antagonistic or belligerent. Racism can be kind of quiet and peaceful. Racism is not just an action. It's a life. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking. It's a belief system. You know, there were plenty of racists who were like, oh, I sure don't want those black people moving in next to me. I sure hope the black people don't date my daughter. They're not violent. They're not protesting. They're not burning crosses. It's their belief. It's their fear system. Some have a feeling of superiority. I go back to the judge that, you know, tries to come across as a real nice guy and understanding. And I just want there not to have to be a black church and a black radio station and black commentary. But yet you feel superior enough to tell me what to post, what not to post. You feel superior enough that even when I apologize to you, hey, John Foster's another one of those guys. He's definitely one of those open-minded guys. But, you know, this white judge feels superior enough that when I apologize to him, instead of him saying, apology accepted, yeah, because you da-da-da-da-da. No, bro. I'm sorry. That's closer to racism than what you're trying to say you're not against. Your actions are racist. Your way of thinking, you have a superiority complex where you feel like you got the right to tell someone who you have absolutely no authority over how to do their job, how to carry themselves, what they should do and what they should. You're telling the wrong person. Don't tell me that. Go tell your white friends that, or better yet, when you pass a mirror, tell the person you see that. Because you're the problem. I have never once gotten on that young man's post and said anything about black people this, black people that. Everything I've done has been on my own page, on my own threads, and he has come on mine to tell me what to do. Who's got the problem? That stuff has got to stop. Rand Paul listened to that entire inauguration speech on yesterday and came away with President Biden was telling us that we were liars and we were racists and we were this and we were that. Out of that entire speech, that's all he got out of it, that President Biden was calling him and others racist and liars. That's somebody who just wants to have a problem. That's somebody who doesn't even want to try to work together. Working together does not mean that we've always got to do it your way or my way. Working together doesn't mean I get to tell you what to do and you get to tell me what to do just because I'm in power. NFL owners don't have anything or anyone right now that challenges their power. So therefore, they have no reason to viably want to hire other color people, races, cultures. They got no viable reason. Who was the football coach at Arizona Cardinals that got fired after 1 year? He just took a job as the defensive coordinator for University of Missouri. Not in the NFL. He didn't get a chance to be another head coach or a head coach again like Adam Gase and others who didn't do well in their job first time around. He took a job as a defensive coordinator in Missouri. Tell me what's fair about that. Why is Dan Campbell not taking a job at the University of Detroit? Why is he not taking a job as a coordinator at Michigan? What gives him the better than everybody else to be the head coach of a pro team that has struggled except for the last time they had a black head coach? Y'all make it make sense, because it doesn't to me. If you are a CDL licensed driver, you're looking for a good situation, you got a good driving record and a TWIC card, there's a reputable company that would like to talk to you. Their number is 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Give them a call. Tell them you heard it right here on KYOK. You're a CDL licensed driver, good driving record, and a TWIC card. Dial this number, 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. I've been avoiding talking about The Ohio State University. They've got a black athletic director, but when has the alumni, the school, the powers that be ever let them hire a black head coach? When? When's the last time they had a black head coach as a basketball coach? Football. Baseball. Watch this. Something other than track. Clemson. Alabama. Well, Alabama had a young man that played at Southern and played at for the Dallas Mavericks. I know who you're talking about. As a basketball coach. Black head coach can't lead the Crimson Tide in football. Black head coach can't lead the Sooners of Oklahoma. Just asking. Sybil Wilkes up next with her coronavirus update. And then, of course, we've got Donnie McClurkin with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music. The latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Sybil Wilkes. You got Mary. You got the Tina bringing us her deal. It's called Get Up Mornings along with Griff. And then your boy will be back for Freestyle Friday. There we go. Erica Campbell and Griff, Get Up Mornings, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Let me get out of the way. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everybody around you, give them their 6 feet. When you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, but the racism, the way of thinking, the way of living. Y'all be blessed. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. Inauguration Day 2021 was a day of solemnity, but also one of great celebration, honor, and history. The excitement was palpable as Kamala Devi Harris, the first woman, first African American, and first Asian American, was sworn in as Vice President of the United States. And with work and promises of a more unified government, President Joe Biden sought to turn the pages of history of the last 4 years, especially last 2 weeks. A year ago, the first coronavirus case in the U.S. was confirmed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Today, more than 24 million cases of the coronavirus have been diagnosed in the U.S., and more than 400,000 Americans have lost their lives to COVID-19, representing the highest death toll in the world. President Biden has vowed to make the pandemic a top priority, and yesterday he signed his first executive order requiring that masks be worn on all federal properties. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all. Again, hope you enjoyed the show. I know everybody always like, man, why does he always get on that? I don't mean to, but when it comes up, I'm not going to shy away from it. So y'all be blessed. Have a great rest of your day. Again, not this, definitely this. I love y'all. Y'all take care. Oh, Wilberforce University, my father's school that he went to, he was an alumni there. One of the members of the Alumni Association sent me this shirt in honor of my dad. A lot of love going out to Wilberforce. A lot of HBCUs were represented in the inauguration on yesterday, and I hope that many more will be represented in this administration going forward. Y'all take care. Love you to life.